Welcome to Kung Fu Havoc number 2. Alright, so this is a sensitive topic. If you are a sensitive person, this ain't for you. If you are from TikTok, like I tell everybody who's ever come to my YouTube channel, I give you 99.9. I do not tell lies. And when I'm wrong, I'm man enough to admit that I'm wrong. I don't really think I'm wrong, and I'm going to hold on to my guns. I made a video about pronouns, and in the video it states, from the video that I made, let me find the video. I got myself into the thick of it, because it states.
Let me apologize. It's not my job to know your pronouns.
Let me apologize. Okay.
Hard one.
So here's where it began. It began with me saying, "Let me apologize. It is not my job to know your pronouns." I also want to extenuate on that it is also not a law to have to identify everybody by their pronouns. Okay? Now this leads to labeled ignorance. Alright? Because I got a lot of hate in all these videos. There's like 5 of them on my TikTok. I'm not mad about the hate. I'm going to be honest about it. Because people are going to hate you or people are going to like you. How you receive that will decide who you are as a person. Okay? Now I have gay friends. I have gay family members. I'm not going to go blasting their names all over the place because that's not my job. If someone I know is gay, it is their prerogative to tell their family and their friends. It is not my prerogative because I know that they are. It's not my place to out them. It's not. So let's talk about labels. Okay? Let's talk about labels. First off, you have a label from the day you were born. It's called your government name. My government name is James Williams Jr. My birth certificate says that I am a Negro. My birth certificate also says that I am a male. That I was born in 1973 of August at 8 p.m. on the 23rd day. Now you have more information of mine that you probably shouldn't even have gotten on the internet. But there it is. I am also a veteran of the United States Military Army National Guard. I am also a college student studying police science and criminal justice. I have 2 classes left to graduate, and I already have my certificate in criminal justice. Okay? So I'm going to get my associates in police science. Is that the job I want? Hell no. But that's the label that I'm going to have. You have a job that gives you a label. So when I was younger, in the 90s, labeling people was wrong. On all accounts, it was wrong. If you knew somebody who lived the alternative lifestyle, that's how you addressed about them when they weren't in a realm. It's like, I don't want to offend anybody, but he lives the alternative lifestyle. And people were like, what is the alternative lifestyle? And I was like, look, don't make me say it, but the dude's gay. I've worked with gay people. When I was a homophobic person, I was scared of gay people. But here's how we solved that problem. I got to know gay people. I got to talk to gay people. I understood they were gay. They understood that I was not. I still don't know all the gay lingo about tops and bottoms and all that shit. I don't live that lifestyle. So it's not really my prerogative to know who's the top and who's the bottom. And to be honest, I don't give a shit. I'm not going home with you. It's not my job to know that. It is also not my job to label you as a gay man or a homosexual man. It is my job to label you by the name you have given me because I know your name, so I'm going to call you by your name. And unfortunately, your name is the only label that really counts. Really. No, I'm Dr. So-and-so. I'm lawyer so-and-so. But labeling people is wrong, right? And now we flip it up to the new decade where Generation X has to deal with millennials and Generation Z. Right? Now I'm not mad at your generations because, that's your thing. It's not my place to judge. But all of a sudden now labeling is becoming a good thing. But if you go back to my time, when people used to call me half-breed, that wasn't cool. I had to accept the fact that I was multicultural. I had to accept the fact that some white dude's going to call me chief for 3 years of my life, 3.5, while I'm working at a bowling alley / restaurant. I didn't like being called chief. I hated that shit with a passion. And I had to put up with that shit for 3 years because I couldn't get another job. And I had to deal with that shit. So to have a man who is not a Native American and not a black man come to me every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday for the first 2 years. I stopped working on Sundays. So this dude can stop calling me chief while he's playing Achy Breaky Heart. I got friends in low places. Tush Push, Chattahoochee, and a bunch of load of other country songs reminding me just how miserable my fucking life is. But now labeling is okay. This is why I called it labeled ignorance. You're getting mad at me. I get it. You're getting mad at me for refusing to label you by your pronouns. And as I said, I apologize. It is not my job to know your pronouns. It is your job to teach me how to understand why you want to be called by these instead of me just calling you by your given name or your nickname versus, well, I can understand it if I'm talking about you and you're not there. All right? And someone asks me, is the person a male or a female? See, I'm with you on that because I'm talking about you and you're not present to defend yourself. And if I know that you identify as a male but you are a female, I would just tell them, why don't you go ask them? Because it would be easier and it would also be your job to tell them what you identify as. But respectfully, they don't have to. You see what I'm saying? I learned this the hard way. When people would call me half H and half N. And those people were black people calling me half H and white people calling me half N. And then they see my mother and be like, oh, your mom is white as hell. Even though my mom's not white, she could white pass. But this is why I call it labeled ignorance. Because when I was coming up, there was, don't put no labels on me. And like hot chicks that are light skinned didn't like being called red bum. But that was the label that was given to them throughout the centuries of the line. And if you called a girl that was light skinned red bone, depending on that girl, some of them were okay with it, some of them were not. That's the point of I don't need to know your pronouns because I'm going to address you by your name. But apparently, TikTokers don't seem to get that concept of you can't make me call you by your pronouns. You really can't. I can't make you call me by mine, except for the fact that I don't have one because I don't know what straight men are called. I just know I'm a straight man. I love women. I love one specific woman who doesn't know that I exist. But the point being made is that I can't force you to call me anything outside of my name. If you want to call me a cosplayer, you are well within your rights. There's 2 suits right there, which means I cosplay. But that's a label. Is it ignorant? Did you call me a cosplayer? Should I be mad did you call me a cosplayer? Fuck no. The suit's right there. I do cosplay. It's a label. But still, people get a little ignorant because you know the people who don't like us cosplayers. You're a cosplayer. See how that label just got turned against me? See that? See that point of view coming in? Is it registering with y'all yet? Hey, I do cosplay. Hey, I do cosplay. Hey, you want to cosplay together? Right on! Forearm smash. Go on about our day. Do cosplay. It makes us happy. It gives us an escape. It helps me to free myself and to deal with my depression, my PTSD, and every other thing that I have that people are hating me for, i.e. labeled ignorance. Now, I don't know your pronouns. It honestly, truly to God, is not my job to try to figure the shit out. But if I know your name and we become friends, how do you want me to address you? Do you want me to address you as your pronoun? Or do you want me to address you as your name? Because if I see you down the street and I say, hey Marvin, and you're like, yo, Echo, or hey James, we know each other by name. Why is this not registering? Why is it wrong for me to just tell you hi and call you by your name versus hi, he, him, his? Okay? And that's probably wrong. I probably did that completely wrong. And if I did, and if I've offended you, I am sorry. I don't know fucking pronouns. I really don't give a damn. Because I'm never going to address somebody by he, his, him. You have a name. You give me your name. I'm going to call you by your name. Which is the one label that is not ignorant, because that is your name. But let's say your name is Marvin and you don't want to be called Marvin. You want to be called Marv. So I'm going to call you Marv. Because we're friends. And you done told me, don't call me Marvin, call me Marv. But apparently the people on TikTok that are hating me aren't registering on that little aspect of reality. Now, they're also saying it's not their job to teach me how not to be a dick. Okay, one, if I'm calling you by your name, the name that you told me to call you by, how am I being a dick? Again, labeled ignorance. Because if I know you and your name is Marvin and you like to be called Marv, I'm going to respectfully call you Marv. If you know me, my name is James. I don't go by Jim. I don't go by Jimmy. I don't go by John. My stage name is Echo. That's the only stage name I've got. Unless you go to my old stage names, which was Brandon Kramer and Fang Fang and some other shit. Anyway, I decided to go with Echo Fang Grey Wolf. It works better for me. It accentuates my native side. And I did it to honor my native ancestry. Okay? If that's offensive, I'm sorry. I'm not full native. But I can follow the same footsteps that The Rock does and be native versus being native and black, which has not worked for me in the 21 years I've been in this business. But we're going to see if Echo Fang Grey Wolf turns the tide. Because that's the label that I prefer to be called. And if you're from TikTok and you've gotten this far in this video, I thank you. I will be switching locations because I will have to make another video at work. They won't be posted until later tonight, but I'm still going to have to make this other video because ignorance is golden in some cases. Now, if you come to my YouTube channel and you will see, for those who think I'm a dick, there have been some videos of me trying to protect transgender people where they were murdered in Puerto Rico and in other countries and even in the state of New York. ID channel, I mention all that shit. So if you're thinking I'm against you because of all that non-pronoun shit, you don't know who the hell I am. I'm all about the human race. I don't give a fuck what color you are. If you're wrong, you're wrong. And I can be wrong. But I don't have a problem being wrong because I can be taught how to be right. But in the events of things that I'm going through with this pronoun crap, am I wrong? Or are we both just on two different sides of the same coin? I don't understand your life. I don't understand what you've been through. So how can I label you respectfully when I was taught that labeling people is wrong? Pronouns are other labels. The only label that I think I should ever identify anybody with is by their God-given name or the name they choose for me to call them. Let's say your name is Michelle and you like being called Shell. I have a friend named Michelle on TikTok. She likes to go by Shell. I call her Shell. Just like my friend Jill, just like my other friends. I don't disrespect them by their names. I call them the name that they want to be called. Of course, unless you're Brianna the Brave, Tiki Thunder, and Berta the Bold. Now, shout out to you ladies because y'all, I had to add names to your names so that I didn't forget your names. And, you know, that's just me. But I'm a brutally honest person. My moral compass might not match your moral compass. And that's okay. You may see things that I don't see. You may know things that I don't know. And vice versa. But as far as point of view goes, no one's going to have the exact point of view as you and your moral compass every time. I understand that shit. It's not about me being mad that I'm getting hate. It's about me trying to understand why you're hating me without understanding where I come from. I'm a Generation Xer. I am until the day I die. And most Generation Xers, we rarely give a shit. Or we rarely give two fucks away. And you know, I'm not here to piss anybody off. I'm not here to offend anybody. What I am here to do is try to bridge that gap, but respectfully let you know that I have rights just like you. You have rights to be identified as a human being. And you don't want to be, you know, taken advantage of, and you don't want to be called something that is offensive. You know, I've never called a gay man the F word after I understood that that was bad. How did I understand that? I'll tell you a story. I had a gay music teacher. We will leave his name off. He worked at Walker School. I still speak to my gay music teacher when I get the chance to see him. In fact, his name and my birth name is one and the same. We just have different last names. So one day I got into a bit of a conflict in the hallway, leaving home met with some cat named Sean. Hi, Sean. And Sean thought his karate was better than mine. And it might have been at the time. I don't know if he still practices. I don't really give a shit. But Sean did something to me in class and got away. And I didn't know that my music teacher was gay until years later. But he punished me for using the word faggot. Alright? I'm sorry if you're gay and you heard that word. It's not something that I normally ever say, and I haven't said it before this video or after this video since this incident. But since it's part of the story, I'm going to go ahead and give it to you. Which is another reason why I'm not going to look for your pronouns, because I can offend you accidentally without even trying. So, Sean, who may not have been gay, got away from me that day. Because Mr. Music Teacher, almost blew your name there, buddy, caught me in the hallway and asked me if I knew what a faggot was. And what I knew of a faggot was that they were a homosexual man. Well, that's only half right. Mr. Music Teacher gave me a dictionary. Made me read the dictionary. The first words in the dictionary from that word says that it is a bundle of sticks. The second part from the dictionary says that it is a homosexual man. The third part of that dictionary says that it is also known as a cigarette in England. Guess who had to write 101 times on 3.5 chalkboards? I will not call somebody a faggot. A faggot is a bundle of sticks. That would be me. Till this day, other than this video, I've never used that fucking word again. Ever. No matter how mad somebody has made me, if they were gay and I knew they were gay, I've never used that word ever again. Ever. So when you ask me why I don't use pronouns, because labeling is ignorance. And for every one of you who want to be identified with a pronoun, there's just as many of you who don't want to be labeled. I.e., that's why this is titled Labeled Ignorance. Am I making it clear enough for you? Because here's that thing about labels. Labels can be good and labels can be bad. It all depends on the recipient of that label. I hated being called mixed breed, but I understood that's what I am. I hated being called half-breed. I understood that's what I am. I also understood the cruelty of mankind. And no one is crueler than children, because children are brutally honest. They have no censors. They aren't taught racism until they're taught it by us adults. So me finding your pronouns kind of feel like I'm being a little bit racist, when it would be much easier for me personally to just call you by your name. Now I will make a part 2, and I will have to do it from my job. But I'm letting you know, I'm not doing this pronoun thing to make you hate me. And I don't give a damn if you don't like me or if you do like me for making such a video. But the problem is really quite simple. When we do these things, when we force labels amongst people, you force anger amongst people as well. And when you start looking at it from where I came from versus where you are in it, you're going to understand why I don't have to go look for your pronouns. Because I start looking for your pronouns. What if I call you the wrong pronoun? Now I fucked up. You see? I can fuck up by accident, which many people do. I made an analogy on my video, and I'm pretty sure I got more hate for it. But what I said was this. I'm going to use this as an analogy. I'm going to end this video. and then I'll pick up part 2 from my job because it is almost time for me to get ready to go. This might even be a 3-part. The analogy was this. I know some white people. I know black people. I know Asian people. Now, a lot of the white people I know are not racist. By far. It's the farthest thing from them. And some of them talk black. And they even expel the N-word out of their mouth. And some of them have a hall pass because some of those white people are blacker than black people. And they just down like that. And everybody know. And a lot of the brothers that I know that are white, that are down like that, they can throw some hands. So, you get mad when you hear the N-word fly out their mouth. Hey, you better be careful. Because they got some hands. Anyway, not to promote violence. My white friends generally don't really use that N-word in public. They rarely use it around me. They rarely ever use any native innuendos. None of my white friends have ever called me Geronimo. None of them have ever called me Tonto. Had a black friend once or twice called me Tonto. He was jokingly, and until we found out that Tonto means stupid in Spanish, so he never called me Tonto again. At one time, I thought Tonto would be cool because Tonto was a hero. He was a Lone Ranger's sidekick, but he never got his own show. He never got his own spotlight. So, up until we found out that Tonto meant stupid in Spanish, I didn't have a problem with it. Now, no one's ever told me remember the Alamo, because people may think I'm Mexican. No one's ever told me Geronimo was not a hero, because he was. Might not seem like it to non-natives, but Geronimo was a hero. Pocahontas was a victim. Sacagawea was slightly a hero, slightly a traitor, just depends on who you ask, because she helped white men get from the East Coast, where they had already dominated most of the tribes, to the West Coast, which opened up the battlefield for all of the other tribes to suffer. So depending on who you ask. Swanto, father of Thanksgiving, also labeled a traitor, also labeled a hero. It really just depends on who you ask. You see where these labels are going? You see where they're going, right? But yet you're mad at me because I won't label you. Think about that shit. I just told you 2 stories about how a white man called me chief, but I had a name tag. And for 3.5 years, I begged this man to call me James, but he would only call me chief. Most people who aren't native don't care about being called chief. Most people who are native knows that the only person that is called the chief are the chief tribal council. And then you have the high chief, and then you have the lower chiefs. But if you're not in that council, you do not wear the label chief. If anything, he could have called me scout, and I'd have been alright. Because that's an honor to be a scout in tribes. And you have to earn that. Just like you have to earn every feather on your war bonnet. But yet you guys are coming at me because I refuse to label you by your pronouns. And that makes me a dick. I guess I'll be a dick. I will call you by your name because I have been called by so many names other than mine. Echo's a new name. I like it. You don't have to. But I like it. Everybody in my personal life knows that my real name is James, and if that's what they want to call me, that's fine. But it wouldn't hurt me if they called me Echo Fang Grey Wolf either, because that's who I am. I am Echo Fang Grey Wolf. James Williams Jr. is dead. Only on the mental side. I had to become Echo Fang Grey Wolf to stay alive, so I don't off myself, so that I can be who I want to be and be respected. But in that quest for my reconnecting journey, I am not going to disrespect anybody. I am not going to label anybody. And if that offends you, that I do not know your pronoun and I choose not to find it, not to look for it, that's not my problem. That's you not understanding my point of view of labeling people when I was taught that labeling people is wrong. Now you make it make sense. We'll do part 2.